Welcome to Complete Kids Online, friendly discussions about autism and other developmental disabilities. Learn how working together is working better, one conversation at a time.
Hi, I'm Bob, and I'm here with Complete Kids Podcast, and this week we have Deborah DiMare. So, Deborah, you are part of VeganDesign, which is interior design.
Yes.
So I haven't ate a couch in a long time. So tell us why vegan is important when it comes to design, interior design.
Okay. So I've been designing now over 20 years, and about 9 years ago, I became non-toxic and vegan in my firm. I love animals very much. My family and I love animals so very much. And I guess you have to be ready for change. And my ignorance was bliss. You know, I was designing all these homes, and there was fur and leather and wool and down, and quite honestly being quite hypocritical, because there I was loving animals and helping PETA and Mercy for Animals and Catskill Sanctuary and all these places, but yet I was doing this. So I finally opened a video that I had gotten on my feed a million times, because I always say you have to be ready for change. And it was about dog leather. And that was really the turning point for me, when I realized that a lot of leather comes from dogs, not only cows, and cows are beautiful creatures as well. And so I became completely non-animal based in my firm. No down, no wool.
So, Deborah, leather that people are wearing, some of that is actually from dogs?
Yes, because China is the leading exporter of leather, and leather is skin. And in China, dogs are eaten, which is part of their culture. We eat cows, they eat dogs. And so it can be raccoons, it can be kangaroos. Actually, I think it was Nike that just got busted for that, for kangaroo skin. So it can be dogs, cats, cows, kangaroos, coon cats. Anything with a skin really and a hide can be converted into leather. So then it's mass exported, and you really don't know whether it's cow or dog and it's all the same thing, because really cows are just big puppies anyway. So,
Right.
So that was really the turning point for me. And then I sort of just entered this rabbit hole, because I quickly realized it wasn't just about animal sacrifice, and it's a horrific industry, because you can't produce anything in mass quantity without tragedy, unfortunately, for children and for animals and for laborers. So I quickly realized that it wasn't just about animals. It was about child laborers. It was about workers. It was about horrible conditions for people that worked in these industries. And it was about chemicals. And animal-based materials are laden with chemicals, because they have to be. Because I always say, it's like if you have a scab, right? You have a cut and it turns into a scab and it falls off. So imagine the skin of an animal. If you remove that skin, it's going to turn into a scab unless you put tons of chemicals in it. Leather has over 250 chemicals. Arsenic, lead, and chromium are just a few of them. And our body absorbs that. So if you are anyone with any sort of sensory condition, and also for neurotypicals as well, it's the worst thing for you. I mean, it's just our body is a sponge, and it absorbs our environment. So years ago, when I used to design sensory spaces for children with autism or sensory issues, I would put leather beanbag chairs and things, where thinking that they're sitting in this and they're cocooning themselves in the leather. Now I'm like, oh my God, I was literally surrounding these children with chemicals. So that's, in a nutshell, why I became.
Yeah, no. After you mentioned it, makes total sense.
Yeah.
So as a mom of a kid on the spectrum, I'm watching this podcast.
I have a daughter on the spectrum as well.
So what are some simple things that I can do? I'm not a mom, so
Right.
But what are some simple things that parents can do that can maybe address this situation?
Well, it also depends. It's very specific to every child. As you know, that expression is a child. When you've met a child with autism, you've met a child with autism. I've heard that many times, because it's a different. I always say it's a different recipe.
Right.
My daughter, for example, is now 29 years old, and she is very high functioning, and she's the type that she just slipped through the cracks in classes. If we didn't put her in a special school, because she's sweet and she's quiet, and she demands nothing, so she's ADHD inattentive. So it depends if you need stimulation or you need a calming environment. A lot of people need a calming environment. I think a majority, because most people that are diagnosed on the spectrum are boys. Women slip through the cracks because of their demeanor. So a lot of our clients really need a calming environment. So we suggest colors, neutral colors. There's also research saying that people on the spectrum do well in the shades of pink. So meaning that if it's a boy, you don't have to have a pink bedroom, but you can do a neutral sand color with a shade of pink in it, that has a very calming effect on them. Low furniture, rounded corners, order, no clutter. Because even windows, there's so much interesting research about that if you're building a house and you have someone in the home who's on the spectrum or has any sort of sensory issue, many windows are very disturbing to many people with autism. So you're better off with one large window. So think of less clutter and order, things that are low to the ground. Push, pull. If you have, it's a child, think of things that they can push and pull, push, pull. Think of things that can make them a bit independent. Something as simple as a light switch that they can control is important to them. The bed should be low. It should be anchored. Don't use anything animal-based. You want to keep chemicals away. You want to use things that, if you can, for example, mattresses. To me, I say the place you should spend your money is in a mattress, because we spend a third of our life in bed. Mm-hmm. You want to buy mattresses that are completely non-toxic, that have a certification called GOTS, G-O-T-S. Stands for the Global Organic Textile Industry.
And that'll be marked plainly on a mattress that passes that, Deborah?
Yes. Yes, for example, Naturepedic is one of my go-tos. I love Naturepedic, and I'm not getting paid to say this. I mean, I love Naturepedic. The owner is an incredible man. He was a chemical engineer. He's an older man, a chemical engineer who founded Naturepedic because when his daughter gave birth, he couldn't find a mattress that didn't have chemicals. And he founded Naturepedic. Right? It's an amazing story out of need. And he's a wonderful man. And in my own home, I have Naturepedic, and for any client, I recommend Naturepedic. It has that certification, GOTS. Mm-hmm. So you want beds that are low to the floor, neutral colors, order, bins, graphics. You can even show a graphic and the word.
And I know the big thing that our therapists talk about is, minimizing change. Mm-hmm. Kind of locking into, I guess, in this case, a bedroom design and kind of staying with that for a little bit. Just to not upset the routine, I guess.
Yes. Well, routine is very important. And for anyone, as you probably know, in this spectrum, none of us really like change. We're creatures of habit, but for some of the spectrum, change and transitioning is very hard. Right. So what you can do is you can do it slowly. You can change out a pillow. You can change out a blanket and talk about it and the reward system and let them get comfortable with it. Slow change. Set a goal for yourself. I always say, my mother says, a goal without a date is not a goal. It's like, so set a goal for yourself and transition slowly. You know your child. No one knows your child better than you.
And then, so as leather substitutes, what are some man-made materials that aren't necessarily made with chemicals?
Well, of course, I always go to the organics. The organic, again, GOTS certified things. There are fabrics. Sunbrella fabric, for example, is man-made. Sunbrella fabrics are good. They're called performance fabrics, meaning that they're durable. You want durable fabrics too, if you can, right? It's kind of it's a little bit of a dance, because in a perfect world, you want something that's 100% organic cotton, GOTS certified, cotton or linen, which is great, but it's delicate. So there's no free lunch with that. Right. If you want to go a step up, you can get something called Sunbrella fabrics, which are in a lot of things. A lot of retail stores even have them. So umbrella fabrics have a different certification called Okeotex. It's a weird name. I don't even know how that name came about. Okeotex certification is one down from GOTS. It has some chemicals, but far less than the average fabrics. Cheap is loaded with fabrics. Just think of it that way.
Yeah.
Cheap is loaded with fabrics. With chemicals.
Chemicals.
Cheap,
I know you. Sorry.
loaded with chemicals. The cheaper you go, the more chemicals. Most of them have petrochemicals, which are petroleum-based, very dangerous, linked to autism, neurological disorders, respiratory issues, infertility, genetic disorders. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So that in your mind, you can think about like that. If it's too cheap, it's probably loaded with chemicals. It's a bit of an investment, but you have to think about what's important and pick and choose. So I always say the first place would be the bed. If you're going to do anything, go work on the bed.
Because of the amount of time you spend there.
Yeah.
Is there any one or two chemicals that are like, those are real bad? Just walk away.
They're all terrible. You have
yeah.
PFAS here, but they're all terrible. Microplastics. I mean, it's in our water now.
Yeah.
They're all terrible. There's nothing good about any of them.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if a parent wanted to reach out to you guys, how would they make that happen? They would
just email us if they go to our site, DiMare Design or VeganDesign.org or DeborahDiMare.com. I have many different sites. They can just reach out directly to us. I'll send you the links after. And also, we came up with a really great course for designing nursery and kids rooms, and they focus on sensory spaces and chemicals. It's less than 2 hours. I was in charge of the course. I think it's my best course ever. I'm being honest. We have Dr. Lisa Bronner from Dr. Bronner's Soaps. We have an amazing physical and occupational therapist. We have Naturepedic. We have so many incredible. We have a sleep expert for kids on the spectrum. And there's a coupon code that I think I emailed to you. It's Complete Kids 35, and we're giving 35% off to your audience for the course. It can be done at their own pace.
We'll put that in the comments below this podcast.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm really proud of the course. It took us a long time to put it together, and it helps you. It teaches you how to decorate and design also really pretty space with our tips, what we go through the process, besides teaching you all these ways to implement healthy alternatives.
And that's on all of those websites that you previously mentioned?
Yes, I sent you the link actually, but yes, it's also on the website. But if you have the direct link, that's the best way to go, which I'll send to you again if you'd like.
Perfect. And then any social media?
Yes, I'm on Instagram at Deborah DiMare, and I have a really active Facebook group. I'll send that to you as well.
And we'll put that in the comments. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for, some insight into this. I mean, stuff that, I personally would not think of.
Yeah.
But obviously it seems really important to think about. So we really appreciate that. Just give us a little glimpse into this world. I'm sure it's not something that's covered off in a 10 or 15 minute podcast, but it's definitely something to get people's brains going.
Yes, it is. It's just to get the juices going,
Yeah. So we always end the podcast, Deborah, with we ask, since we have a kind of a theme at Complete Kids of superheroes and all of our disciplines, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech, and behavioral therapy all have their own little superhero. We ask our guests, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be and why?
I would think I would want to be Wonder Woman, because she can just do anything. Right? I mean, if she wants to end animal cruelty, she'll end it. If she wants to end sex trafficking, she'll end it. I just feel like Wonder Woman can do anything. Like I would wake up that day and say, today I'm going to focus on the down industry,
And just make that
today
goal.
I'm going to focus on, war. Today I'm going to focus on, I think it would be Wonder Woman if I had to say.
All right. Well, that's a good one.
She's the bomb. You know what I mean?
I did like one young man back. I'm dating myself to Linda Carter.
Right. Exactly. Me too.
So we really appreciate your time. Once again, could you just give out the websites or the preferred website?
Yes. If you go to VeganDesign.org, if you go to DiMare Design, that's DIMARE design.com. And if you want to go to DeborahDiMare.com, DeborahDimare.com. And in there, you'll find the course as well, and you can reach out to us. We also offer virtual design. We have a whole wealth of options for everyone within all types of budgets, because that's very important to me.
Thank you so much, Deborah. It was really an eye opener for me.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I came in with closed eyes, so I'm glad.
Thank
now I have to
you.
talk about with our parents too. But hey, did you know?
Right.
So
All right.
thank
An
Thank you.
autism tip sheet. If you want, I'll send you the autism tip sheet.
That'd be
I'll
great.
send
We can put that. We can put a link to that in
Yeah.
the comment as well.
All right. Terrific.
Thank you so much. You have a great
All right.
day. Thanks
You
for
too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
helping our parents out. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
To continue the conversation, visit the links to our website, Facebook page, or Instagram in the comments.